Well, to be honest, I didn't thought of making this video. But unfortunately, I've been noticing keplerians had made very bad decisions lately. I feel very disappointed and I want you guys to know what is going on. First, I want to clarify this video doesn't have the intentions to attack on anyone mentioned on this video. I'm just here to give y'all a small context of everything that had been happening, explaining the mistakes that made the community feel disappointed. Well, as you guys noticed, keplerians have been working on new ice cream side stories. At first, I thought the idea sounded interesting. But before this, keplerians already promised to develop glamour, which it made the community feel excited. Keplerians basically paused the glamour development, which it made the community feel disappointed. The problem with the side stories is that the ice cream saga has already over. The people want to see new content and leave ice cream behind. The first side story they made was about the missing security guard. I felt excited at first, since I thought keplerians would give Fred Smith more lore and character development. Talking about his past story, his family, his personality, more like an actual character instead of just an NPC with no personality. For my disappointment, none of that happened inside the side story. Besides, Jay decided to investigate the security guard disappearance. The side story only explained how he disappeared, something that everyone already knew about, adding unnecessary missions and no more information about Fred Smith at all. I would have loved to see cutscenes of Fred Smith pass before he died, if you ask me. The problem with this side story is that someone already tried to leak one of the cutscenes with a fan game. They stole it from the files and made a fan game before the official story was released. The worst part is that it's happening exactly the same with the new side story. Keplerians only keep milking the saga, despite they already know that no one asked for these side stories. I understand Ice Cream is the most famous saga, and they're worried for the loss of popularity. But God, it's almost like they only care about the popularity and the money, instead of listening their community. Well, next subject is just more linked with the keplerians artist community itself. First, I want to ask y'all to not attack anyone mentioned here. I'm not going to reveal the people's names mentioned. This part would only explain the dramas with the keplerians artist community. To understand everything, we need to travel back when keplerians updated Ice Cream 1 for the network. More specifically with the fact of the canonization of Miss Pinky. If you don't know, basically Miss Pinky is an OC made by an artist who was part of the community back in 2020 and 2023. The artist decided to leave the community years ago, which I'll explain why later. The thing is, keplerians decided to canonize her OC despite the artist already mentioned. She doesn't want it to be linked with keplerians. The other problem is that when keplerians canonizated it, they made Miss Pinky to be inside a relationship with Rod Sullivan. This canonization caused a lot of problems for the Sheepers community. And the worst part is that the keplerians artist community is alive is thanks to the Sheepers. A lot of Yumishers receive hate comments on social media by people who says Rod has a girlfriend, when they used to create content before her OC was canon. When keplerians did this, the artist was not inside the community when this happens. The weird part is that when keplerians asked permission to the original artist, she accepted it. It doesn't make sense since she not only left the community, but also said she didn't want to be linked with Miss Pinky. Despite this, after the artist find out this she decided to come back, which it made a lot of things to happen. When people asked her why she came back, she said she did after they made her OC canon. And I want you all to keep this in mind, because it will be very important. A lot of people was happy that she came back. Many artists and people wanted to interact with her, and she worked on a new AU for Miss Pinky. But then she started to receive a lot of recognition thanks to the canonization of her Ross. which it also made other artists to be completely ignored despite their else were good. I'm not saying she don't deserve it, but it's weird that an artist that left the community for 4 years received more recognition than someone who never left. Besides, if her OC was never canon, she wouldn't even care to come back in the first place. When I mentioned about this on the keplerians group, she mentioned the fact she came back after the canonization was just a coincidence. The thing that I don't understand is why she accepted the canonization if she insisted millions times she don't want it to be linked with her characters. Well, this comment unfortunately turned into me having an argue with her. After that, I wanted to leave the group and take a break from keplerians content. I mentioned on an ATAG story that I'll leave thanks to the lack of motivation and the lack of support artists are receiving. But then, after I did this, the original artist tried to message me, asking me to stop talking about her and her OC because it made her feel frustrated. I was scared, so I just said that I won't do it again. And after that, I blocked her, since I was afraid she would text me again. The reason why I don't have screenshots of this conversation is because after she texted me, I was too scared, so I just blocked her out of impulse. I also remember she told me she would help me to receive more recognition if I promised not to talk about this again. Like God, it was almost like she only cared about her reputation instead of the situation itself. I think before I left the group, she advised me to collaborate with other creator content, so my character would receive more popularity. Well, to y'all's surprise, I actually did what she told me, but it was time ago. Before all of this happened, I find out her character and other artists' character would be added inside an Ice Cream Roblox roleplay. I saw this like an opportunity, so I wanted to ask the developer if he could also add my character inside the game. I don't know how to make 3D models, so my suggestion was just to add a PNG of my character as an Easter egg. I remember I mentioned every single detail, like where the character can be hided. I was very excited, so the developer replied with okay. So I thought my idea convinced him. So I waited. Days, then weeks, then months, and still nothing. So when I asked about this to the developer, he never replied, and I was too scared to be insisting. Like, dude, if you didn't have time or didn't want it to, at least you could have told me in the first place. But now, back to the main point. After the drama, I felt very exhausted, so I just left social medias for a few days. And when I came back, I talked with my friends about what happened. I told them she didn't have any right to tell me what to talk about, since social medias are public platforms and everyone is free to talk about the topic they want. Besides, the situation is for public knowledge, since we are talking about the canonization of a character inside a game, and as an artist, she is also a public figure. If she didn't like what I said, that is not my problem. She needs to be more mature about other people's critics. After this, when I talked with one of my friends, he told me she had a drama years ago as well. Basically, the reason why she left the community was cause someone exposed her for making a violent roleplay with another artist. I won't give further details since that drama happened years ago. Basically, after this drama, she said she felt disgusted with her characters, and she didn't want to see them again. She also said she didn't want people to make fan arts of her characters, so she left. This part is not to bring back old dramas, it's just to explain what happened. It's funny how she changed her mind so quickly. When keplerians wanted to add her OC, but you can't just leave and then come back without explication and act like nothing happened. When I asked my friend to add me to the keplerians group chat again, I noticed she left the group as well. You want to know what her excuse was? Just read this. If you don't understood, basically she said she left cause her artwork comes to be an issue to other people. Does that even make sense? No, absolutely not. When I saw the message, I felt she was only trying to victimize herself, since what she said was completely out of context. First, it doesn't make sense that your art comes to be an issue to others. Like, why does that even matter? Doesn't art is about do it for fun? We are not talking about gore art or explicit art. She never did that. Second, if she was meaning about the drama, that is not the reason. It was more about her own contradictions and decisions that made people feel confused. I noticed she always follow a pattern. She get inside a drama, then she leave without giving explication. She comes back and get inside another drama and leaves again. That sounds very unresponsible for a 20-year-old woman to do, if you ask me. Despite everything, I don't know if all of this situation is also on Keplerians' knowledge. But till this video is uploaded, Keplerians never talked about the situation. Alex, when I find you, Alex. Well, at this point, I think Keplerians is only trying to ignore their own community. It feels like they only care about the people who is leaving, instead of caring for the people who is still supporting. Trust me, if they stopped doing that, they wouldn't have many fans leaving the community. The only thing we can do now is just want and know if they'll keep doing bad decisions or not. But if the situation is not solved, then I won't support them anymore. I would love to know what you guys think about all of this. You can leave a comment about what you think.